What's up, man? Today we're here at Evil Nash Brewing. We're gonna go in there and get an interview with the owner and get a story on how he started his business and also get some good entrepreneurial questions for y'all out there who want to be entrepreneurs. Let's go. Appreciate you letting us come through, man.
Oh, absolutely.
So, how did this come about? Like the location, the brewery. I see you got like a lot of old, kind of antique type stuff in here, like the barrels and stuff. Like, where did this whole idea come from to start this business?
I mean, I've been brewing for years. And when I say years, I mean, it's like getting in like almost 2 decades.
You look like you're about 20 or 30. That's all.
Yeah, no, I'm older than that. But as far as this whole thing, I started planning doing my own brewery back in 2013. And partly like it was, I always wanted to be my own boss. I always wanted to own my own business and be able to dictate like what my schedule is going to be, what it is that I'm doing day to day. And so 2013 for sure was it. Like I've been working for other people. By that point, I'm not. I don't want to do it anymore. So I committed. I'm doing my own brewery, but I'm originally from California.
Oh, okay.
So I was brewing out in California. I needed water. Water was a huge thing for brewing. So California was a severe drought situation. Coming to Tennessee for the first time in 2013, same time. Like, I'm going to do a brewery. At the same time, come with a friend to Tennessee, see what Tennessee's about. I was like, yep, that's it for me. I'm moving to Tennessee. Moved here in 2015. The end of that year, 2015, I basically got this building, started to build out the beginning of 2016, and just ran with it. I opened in 2019, and here I am. Like, I'm doing the same thing. And as far as the other stuff, the motif, any of that stuff, like, I'm a very eclectic person. So it's like, it's a collect-all. Like, there's so much shit around here that I just keep adding and adding and adding to it.
Okay, so you're from California, you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any family here?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay, because I was going to ask you.
All my family's out there. Yeah.
Out there? What about out here?
None.
Okay, so like this is like the first person that we spoke to where it's like, not only did you step out there and start your own business, but you kind of moved out of your comfort zone, I guess you would say, California.
Mm-hmm.
You moved to like a whole different side of the state.
Yeah.
And then also started a business. Like what type of mindset do you have to do that? Because not only are you far away from home from all of your family, but also you're coming into a whole different community that you don't know too much about, that you're not really you're not too acquainted with, and you're also getting ready to start a business. So
The mindset that you really have to have is like, I hate to say it, but like a fuck it attitude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you really have to have a fuck it attitude. I'm doing this, and then commit. And when you commit to it, committing 100% to it. And when you commit, that's it. Like but the mindset really is, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do. And there's nothing that's going to keep me from doing that. There's nothing that's going to keep me from doing that. And that's my experience here. Like, when I moved here and stuff, like, there was a lot of, initially, like, when I first got going here, there was some blowback, partly from me coming from California. And it comes down to, like, the here in Clarksville, like, the good old boy mentality. We didn't go to high school with you. We don't know your family, none of that. You know what I mean? And the fact that I was from California, too, I had to have a few battles with the like city stuff as far as getting open, more so with buildings and codes. But I committed. Mm-hmm. Once I commit to something, I'm gonna see it through. Like, I'm not that, like, I start something and don't finish. I'm gonna finish. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna finish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, I 100% committed. But as far as, like, actual mindset, I would say, there are a lot of people that want to be entrepreneurs. There are a lot of people that want to work for themselves. Very few actually see it through. And, the ones that actually do are the ones that will get deep into the trenches, like get just fucking. Basically, you got to be kind of goalie a little bit, but like you're gonna dig yourself out of the trenches, and you're gonna do whatever it takes to make your vision come to fruition. Really, right? Turn your vision to fruition. But it does take a very strong, very strong. I don't even know what to say.
I guess like a strong mind, I guess you would say.
It's a strong mind.
You spoke about having a strong mind. So where did you learn how to brew from? Like where did this come about? Like were you one of those guys that like maybe had a grandfather that knew how to do it?
Nah.
Something.
So I got into it by chance. Started back really, I guess like late 90s, early 2000s. I had gotten a job at a place, and I didn't want to get into brewing. That wasn't ever my goal. Mm-hmm. My goal was I wanted to be a chef.
Wow.
That was always my dream, was to be a chef. And I was working for a restaurant that actually had a brewery there too, and I would get asked from time to time from the brewer, like, "Hey, can you help me? Can you help me?" And it was small stuff, like helping unload the grain bags from the truck, spraying down stuff. You know what I mean? But I got familiar with equipment, and then years later, got into some other stuff. I got more like career oriented. Like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna climb myself up the corporate ladder. I'm gonna wear the monkey suit. All that, you know. And then. Basically, it was about 2010 time frame. I was helping my uncle start a company, and next door to him was a brewery that was opening up. And when that brewery was opening up, they kind of caught wind, like, "Oh, well, James used to do this at this place," you know. So then they thought I knew more than what I actually did. So they'd come over, like, basically it was an extra set of hands, like, "Hey, we need you to do this, we need you to do that," and I knew how to work the fittings and stuff. So I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then the head brewer was like, "Hey, dude, do you brew? Like, you want to brew?" I was like, "I think I do. I think I actually, yeah, let's give it a go." So he's like, "Be here at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, and we're gonna brew." And I went there at 6 a.m, and the experience that I had, especially in San Diego, like that, or California in general, but like San Diego, that's where I'm from. There's so many breweries out there, and you really got to earn your place. You got to start from the bottom and work your way up. They just brought me right into it, and then my experience, and I try to pass that on to everybody that I come across that's coming up and brewing too, is I'm not gonna teach you shit, really. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not gonna teach you until you go get familiar with the ingredients. Like, go eat each every grain. Like, I got tons of barley, there's bags sitting out here, you know what I mean? But like, you're gonna eat it, mm-hmm. and you're gonna see what it tastes like. And that actually carries over to the brewing. That carries over into the beer. So that goes back full circle to the whole wanting to be a chef thing. Wow. So I always wanted to be a chef, couldn't afford culinary school, couldn't do any of that. So once I got into brewing, and that whole experience, that first morning, that 6 a.m. morning, and I'm just going to eat a bunch of barley, like a bunch of whole raw barley, and like maybe I think I broke a tooth, maybe, I don't know. But I'm going to eat a bunch of whole barley, and you get to see, like, it's malted this way, the dark roasted malts, the caramel malts, all these different things. It's mostly barley. There's wheat and corn and some rye and stuff, but it's mostly barley. But tasting it and like, whoa, that actually almost has like a raisin-like character to it. and that's why that's used in that particular style of beer. And then, so we got into the brewing process. I just kind of like jumped right into it, you know. Wow. And then it was from that point on, that's what I was doing. That's all I was doing. And for the first 2 years of actually, once I was brewing, I did it for free. Wow. Because I wanted to learn every aspect, everything there was to know about it. So I basically, like, I was like, yeah, I'll be your free intern, like free labor, you know what I mean? And I learned a lot. Like, I learned a lot pretty quick. And from that, then I started doing like home brewing, doing it at home, developing my own recipes, and doing my own thing. And then also kind of creating my own technique, which I do here. I made my own brew system. You know, I don't rely on anything besides myself. So I made my own brew system. That also cuts down the cost. A brew system could cost anywhere from 30 to hundreds of grand, hundreds of thousands of dollars. But I since I made my own, and I'm willing to put in the work, it was much cheaper than that. But also, because I almost developed my own technique. I didn't reinvent the wheel in brewing. I just made it in a way that it worked for me. And I do that to this day. And so I made my own brew system. Didn't have to be trained on it. Didn't have to do anything. You know what I mean? It was just like, as soon as it was done and ready to rip, I was already brewing on it. And then beyond that, the Evil Nash, all this, the whole idea is I didn't do this for money. Like, that's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it to be my own boss, set my own schedule. I've got a child, you know what I mean? So have a flexible schedule, do what I want when I want, and be my own boss. Because I got to a point, I'm tired of working for somebody else. Let me just do what I'm gonna do. It's worked out. You know, I'm still here. I survived COVID, and I'm not going anywhere.
So how hard was it making that transition from a job? But I know the mind, the mind part of it, doing it, and then also the action part is two different things. Because it's you can think about it all day, but to actually do it, you know what I'm saying? It takes it takes a lot to actually get up and actually go do it. You know, and then once you leaving the job, you are getting luxuries of making your own schedule. You know, you're not capped out on a certain amount of money you can make, but also you're not guaranteed that steady income with a job. But then also with a job, you could be fired any day.
Yeah.
That income could be stopped.
Right.
So you just saying, you know what, I'm done with my job, I'm going to start a business. How was the transition? Did you do both at the same time? Did you ease your way into the business, and then when it started making a certain amount, you was like, okay, I'm done with the job?
I did. So and it goes back to any day you could just be let go. And there was a job, I was in a job for 8 years, and back to 2013, the first time coming to Tennessee, I was laid off when I was in Tennessee.
Wow.
So I get a call from the owner of that company that I was basically being let go. So then it's all right, for sure I'm now going to do this other thing, you know. But it's that unknown. Anything can happen, and you can be let go from a job. It could fail here, you know what I mean? And that's up until recently, I always said my biggest fear was failure. I no longer fear failure. I don't fear it at all, because in any failure there's success too. You know what I mean? You learn. But with that being said, back to your question, I got laid off from a job. Then I 100%, really 1,000% committed that I'm doing my thing. But through that process, I also got another job. I was basically chipping away at savings for a long time, and that's kind of mostly went into here. But it was not working. Trying to find a location, doing all my due diligence research, paying for licenses, all the legal side of things, and I got to a point where I was I had a kid, I needed to work, I needed a paycheck. All the meantime, I'm doing build out here, but I got a job at Kroger.
Wow.
So I was stocking shelves at Kroger overnights, and that was the easiest thing for me to walk away from. But I did that for 3 years. So as far as the transition goes from doing working and then to my own thing, it was extremely easy for me because I was stocking shelves at Kroger at night and coming here and doing build out in the morning, and it was hard. And I did not like that job one bit. So when it came time, I continued that. I had opened here. I opened business here, and then was still working nights at Kroger. And eventually it got to a point where I was I'm not doing it. Basically tomorrow I'm not going to work. I'm just not.
No 2 week notice, no nothing?
No.
Well, it's a debate that we always have. When you get fired from a job, you don't get a 2 week notice. So
No, it's done deal. Yeah.
Why give them a 2 week?
And it was a job that I despised anyway. So for sure I didn't. I was no, it's just I'm never going back again. You know what I mean? But I did. It finally had gotten to a point where I was all right, I wouldn't say that I'm like making money hand over fist, but I'm making enough to sustain. I'm making enough to support my family and keep the doors open, the lights on, all that. And that's all I need. So once that happened, fortunately, pretty early that first year. It was within the first few months. And after that first few months, I was like, I'm never going back to Kroger again.
Wow.
Other than to get groceries.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So Evil Nash, where did the name come from?
Initially, I always looked to do it in Nashville. So Evil Nash, the reason that the two L's, but if you put the Nash to the front, the E to the end, it's Nashville.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of unique. I never thought about
Yeah.
it like that.
But Nashville got too expensive, super expensive. And I don't really like to go down there anymore. If I'm not going to the airport, I'm not going.
So you said you have a daughter. Do you have any more kids or just?
No, I got a son. One son.
One son? Oh, I thought you.
Yeah, a son.
My mistake. So nowadays it's talked about a lot more, generational wealth. A lot of people are starting with nothing. Some people are getting stuff passed down to them. But some people are trying to build that foundation to where they can actually pass something down to their kids besides a house, maybe a car, maybe a business, like a stream of income to where they don't have to get out here and go work a job. Is this something that when what's all said and done, like when you're done here, do you look to sell it or do you look to pass it down to your kids and just keep it in the family?
100% in the family. 100%. That 100%. Yep. And that's my son's been involved with brewing since he was in diapers.
Wow.
So he's already been like kind of being brought up into it. You know what I mean? And he loves it here. I'm gonna go to daddy's work. But he loves it here. No, he can't drink beer, but so before you ferment it, it's called wort. But he actually really likes that. It's a very sweet. It's like sweet tea, basically. It's a sweet barley tea. But he likes wort. So actually, this past Sunday, I brewed. This past Sunday, I brewed a beer just so he could have wort. I wasn't planning on brewing anything on Sunday, but I did just so he could have some of the wort. And he digs it. Wort. W-O-R-T. Wort.
Okay.
Yeah. But he likes it. I don't know that he necessarily is going to want to take over the reins when it comes that time. He's got other ambitions already. He's 7 years old, but he's either going to be a paleontologist or a race car driver right now. But that 100%, it's for me. It's like I built this all, and this is just the start of it. You know what I mean? Like this is the start. I'm not going anywhere. I have plans to grow. I have plans to do so many things, but I'm gonna let it happen organically and over time. I'm not pushing anything. I'm not gonna emphasize anything. It's just gonna happen when it happens. But I'm not going anywhere. I'm doing what I'm doing.
So you
and
plan to
for
open
him,
up locations?
I do.
Okay.
But for him, it's 100. It's legacy. Like he's my legacy, and this is my legacy too. This is what I'm gonna leave behind, and I created something that is larger than myself. That's my goal.
So, I remember earlier you said that, I want to say you started like with the whole business idea in 2015, but you didn't open until 2019?
Well, initially, like I started with the business idea 2013. I got the building and started build out. Got the building in 2015, started build out January 1st of 2016.
Okay.
And it did take me until May of 2019 to actually open because I did literally like 99.98% of the work myself. So I wanted it. That's what I wanted it to be. Looking back in hindsight, hindsight's 2020, but looking back, like maybe I would have done it a little bit different. But I did want to go into it being as hard as possible. I wanted it to be hard. And still to this day, like I still do. I'm a one-man show. As far as the brewing goes, the brewing system, there's absolutely no automation. It's all manual labor. I want it to be hard. I like to work hard because at the end of the day, when you can look back at something that you created and you really put your blood, sweat, and tears into, you yourself can appreciate it more. It's like that. Maybe not everybody sees it that way, but or they can appreciate it. But you yourself, like I sit back, man. When I first opened, I was in tears for like the first couple of months, each and every night, basically. Like I'd close up, pour myself a beer, and just sit there and be like, and just start crying, man.
It does mean more like than like something that's given to you. Like we actually work hard for it.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's paying off. You know, I do feel like it's more appreciated.
Yeah.
So, are there any other things like business ventures that you're looking to get into?
Nah.
Is this it?
That's it. This is it. Yeah, this is it.
Well, James, I appreciate you letting us come through, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for coming.
All right, man. Yeah.